From Hollywood spectacles to small-town tragedies, the 1990s were a decade defined by shocking crimes that captured the world's attention. These are the stories that became national obsessions, revealing unsettling truths about justice, fame, and the dark side of humanity. In this video, we're diving deep into 5 of the most compelling true crime cases of the 90s, cases that still spark debate and haunt our collective memory. Get ready, because you're about to explore the mysteries, trials, and unsolved questions that made these cases unforgettable. But before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more true crime content. Stick around to the end to find out which of these shocking cases remains completely unsolved today. 1. The case of JonBenet Ramsey. The death of 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey remains one of the most baffling and highly publicized unsolved murders in American history. On the morning of December 26, 1996, her parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, reported her missing from their home in Boulder, Colorado. Patsy claimed to have found a 2.5-page ransom note on their kitchen staircase, demanding $118,000 for JonBenet's safe return, an amount almost identical to a bonus her husband had received. The note also explicitly warned against contacting the police, yet Patsy had already called 911. The police response was criticized from the beginning. The crime scene was not properly secured, and dozens of people, including family friends, were allowed to enter and contaminate the house. Later that day, at the request of a detective, John Ramsey and a family friend searched the home again and found JonBenet's body in the basement wine cellar. She had been strangled with a cord and a garrote, and her skull had been fractured. She was also covered with a white blanket, and her mouth had been taped. The discovery of the body in the family's home, the oddities of the ransom note, and the initial behavior of the Ramseys immediately placed them under suspicion. The ransom note was written with a pen and notepad found in the Ramseys' house, and Patsy's handwriting was found to have similarities. A broken paintbrush handle, which matched a set belonging to Patsy, was used to create the garrote. While the Ramseys were formally cleared by DNA evidence years later, the DNA found at the scene has never been matched to a suspect, and the case has never been solved. The public debate over who was responsible for the murder was fierce and fueled by media fascination. Theories ranged from a family cover-up to the possibility of an intruder who entered through a broken basement window. The case remains a source of endless speculation and has led to a number of books, documentaries, and TV specials that continue to explore its every detail. 2. The O.J. Simpson murder case. On June 12, 1994, the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman in Brentwood, Los Angeles, ignited what would become the trial of the century. O.J. Simpson, the former football hero, was the prime suspect. After being charged, Simpson famously led police on a televised low-speed chase in his white Ford Bronco, a bizarre spectacle that was watched by an estimated 95 million people. The subsequent criminal trial, which began in January 1995, was a media circus. The prosecution, led by Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden, presented a compelling case built on a wealth of forensic evidence. This included blood found at the crime scene that matched Simpson's DNA, and blood in his Bronco and on a sock in his home that matched the victim's. A key piece of evidence was a bloody leather glove found at the crime scene, and its match found at Simpson's estate. The defense, a team of high-profile lawyers, including Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey, and Alan Dershowitz, worked to cast doubt on the evidence, alleging police misconduct and a conspiracy to frame Simpson.
The trial's most memorable moment came when prosecutor Darden asked Simpson to try on the bloody glove. Simpson struggled to put it on, leading Cochran to deliver his now famous line to the jury, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The defense also successfully undermined the credibility of a key detective, Mark Foreman, who had found the glove, by exposing his history of using racial slurs. The case became a flashpoint for discussions about race, the justice system, and celebrity. The jury, after less than 4 hours of deliberation, delivered a not guilty verdict that shocked many and was met with a deeply divided public reaction. While acquitted in the criminal trial, Simpson was later found liable for the deaths in a civil suit filed by the victims' families in 1997.
3. The Unabomber. The Unabomber case was a long-running and terrifying campaign of domestic terrorism carried out by a reclusive former mathematics professor, Ted Kaczynski. Beginning in 1978, Kaczynski sent a series of sophisticated homemade bombs through the mail or by hand delivery, targeting academics, airline officials, and others he associated with technology and industrial society. His bombs killed 3 people and injured 23 over a period of nearly 2 decades. The FBI, which dubbed him the Unabomber for University and Airline Bomber, conducted one of the longest and most extensive manhunts in its history, but made little progress for years. In 1995, Kaczynski sent a 35,000-word manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future, to media outlets and promised to end the bombings if it was published. The manifesto, which argued against the dehumanizing effects of modern technology, was published by The Washington Post and The New York Times in September 1995. The decision proved to be the key to his capture. Ted's brother, David Kaczynski, noticed striking similarities between the manifesto's writing style and ideas and letters Ted had sent him. After a long period of internal conflict, David and his wife Linda Patrick tipped off the FBI. On April 3, 1996, the FBI raided Ted Kaczynski's primitive cabin in rural Montana, where he lived without electricity or running water. Inside, they found a wealth of evidence, including bomb-making materials, journals detailing his crimes, and a fully constructed bomb ready to be mailed. Kaczynski was arrested and charged with the bombings. He pleaded guilty in 1998 to avoid the death penalty and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
4. The murder of Selena Quintanilla Perez. The shooting death of Tejano music sensation Selena was a shocking event that brought a beloved icon's life to a tragic end. On March 31, 1995, Selena, 23, was shot and killed by Yolanda Saldivar, the president of her fan club and manager of her boutiques. The motive for the murder was rooted in Saldivar's financial malfeasance. Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla Jr., had discovered that Saldivar was embezzling thousands of dollars from the fan club and the boutiques. The family confronted Saldivar and planned to fire her. However, Selena continued to meet with Saldivar to try to get financial documents that were missing. The day of the murder, Selena met Saldivar at a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Texas. During an argument in the motel room, Saldivar took a .38 caliber revolver from her purse. As Selena turned to leave, Saldivar shot her in the back. Despite the gunshot wound to her shoulder, Selena ran to the lobby of the motel, where she collapsed and, with her last breaths, identified her killer and the room number. The police surrounded the motel, and Saldivar barricaded herself in a pickup truck in the parking lot for hours, threatening to commit suicide. She eventually surrendered and was charged with murder. During the trial, Saldivar's defense claimed the shooting was accidental, but the prosecution successfully argued that it was an intentional act. Yolanda Saldivar was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison, marking a heartbreaking end to the life of a rising star.
5. The West Memphis Three. The West Memphis Three case highlights a miscarriage of justice that captivated a nation. In May 1993, the bodies of three 8-year-old boys, Stevie Branch, Christopher Byers, and Michael Moore, were found in a ditch in West Memphis, Arkansas. The boys were naked, hog-tied, and had been beaten and mutilated. The brutal nature of the crime, combined with the satanic panic of the time, led local authorities to suspect a cult killing. The police quickly zeroed in on three local teenagers: Damian Eccles, 18, Jason Baldwin, 16, and Jesse Miskelly, Jr., 17. The primary evidence against them was their nonconformist appearance. They wore black clothes and listened to heavy metal music, and a coerced confession from Miskelly, who had a low IQ. Miskelly's confession was full of inaccuracies that did not match the crime scene, and he recanted it multiple times, but it was used to secure convictions. There was no physical evidence linking the three to the crime. Despite the lack of a murder weapon, eyewitnesses, or DNA evidence, Eccles was sentenced to death, and Baldwin and Miskelly received life sentences. Their case gained national and international attention through a series of documentaries: Paradise Lost, The Child Murders at Robin Hood Hills, and the support of celebrities who believed they were innocent. In the following years, new DNA evidence was found at the crime scene that did not match any of the three. After years of legal battles, the West Memphis Three were released from prison in 2011 after entering an Alford plea, a unique legal maneuver that allowed them to plead guilty while maintaining their innocence. The true killer of the three boys has never been found. As we close the file on these 5 unforgettable cases, it's clear the 1990s left a lasting legacy on the world of true crime. The stories of JonBenet Ramsey, O.J. Simpson, the Unabomber, Selena, and the West Memphis Three continued to fascinate and challenge our understanding of justice. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive. If you did, please hit the like button and leave a comment below with which case you found most compelling. And for more content like this, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell.